So review question 7 on optimization. The following total revenue function has been given and the cost function. So we're asked to find the output that maximizes profit and the actual maximum total profit itself. So this comes from topic revenue maximization, okay, or optimization. So we are given two functions here. So we want to calculate our answer to maximize our profit. To start with, how do we find profit? Profit is given by what? The difference between total revenue minus total cost in brackets. So when we calculate that, we get our profit function. So whenever we're asked to determine the level that maximizes, we're optimizing. So optimization has 3 steps. Number 1, you find that function you're being asked to find. Number 2, you differentiate that function. Okay. Number 3, you equate to what? 0. Number 4, you solve for what? You solve for Q, which is the output. You find Q. And finally, you can find the price if you are asked to. So optimization happens in 3 different levels or 4 different levels. So we optimize the following functions. So how to optimize revenue when marginal revenue is equal to 0? How to optimize cost? So revenue we are maximizing. How to optimize cost when marginal cost is equal to 0? For cost we are minimizing. To optimize to find the best value possible. How to optimize profit when marginal profit is equal to what? 0. So profit has 2 optimal points. When marginal profit is equal to 0 or when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. All right. So we want to optimize profit. So we know that profit is equal to total revenue minus our total cost. So that is a function for our profit. So we now need to calculate that by using our like terms and unlike terms. So we simplify. So total revenue is already been given and total profit has already been given. So in this context, what are we going to do? We're going to simplify to find the like terms and the unlike terms. So our profit is 22Q minus 0.5Q squared. So we're going to subtract TR minus TC. So we put our TC in brackets to avoid negation errors. So the entire profit comes in here. So when this negative here comes, it will be a negative, here positive, here it will be a negative, here it will be a positive. So we will put the like terms. So this negative 1/3 comes here, all right? Then positive 0.5 will be with the 0.5 there. So 0.85 minus 0.5. Okay, so here we're going to have minus 1/3 negative, then 0.85 minus 0. Here we're going to get negative positive 8.5, positive 8Q squared. Here I have 22 minus 50Q. What do we get? We get negative what? And 8Q. And minus 90. So this is our what? Our profit function. So step 1 has been done. Find the function. Step 2, what did we say was the second step? People, what do we do? Second step, we differentiate, right? And I put an apostrophe there. So 1/3 times 3, it is 1. So 1 whenever it's negative 1. Then subtract 1 from the power there, we're going to have a 2. Then 8x multiply that, we get what? 16q to the power 1. Then 28q, when we differentiate it, we're just going to get negative 28. Then what happens to the 90? It falls out as a constant. So step 2, we differentiate. Step 3, what is our third step? We equate to what? 0, right? We equate to 0. Clearly, this is a what? A quadratic equation. We go back to our grade what? 12. So we need to identify the 3 important elements. What is our A? What is our B? And what is our C? Our A is negative what? Negative 1. Our B is what? 16. Our C is what? Negative 28. So you can use quadratic equations to solve that. So far altogether, what is a quadratic equation? Remember the quadratic general formula? Negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac. Remember this formula? Over what? Over 2a. Remember this formula? So we're going to substitute those figures in there. Are we following? Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, we are following.
we will substitute in the general formula. So what is our b? We're going to put negative 16 here, plus minus b squared, which is 16 squared, minus 4ac. Our a is what? Negative 1.
One.
And our c is what? Negative 28. And for 2a, negative 1. Okay. So what do we get there? So when we substitute those figures, we're going to have something like this in the quadratic equation. AC, so I'm going to have, that is 12, okay, minus, so we can do 16 plus 12, 28 divided by 2, so meaning our first Q is 14, and 16 minus 12 divided by 2, our second Q is what? Is 2. So you have two quantities. Now the question is, which of the quantities do you pick? So we use the rule of minima and maxima, the second derivative rule. So we're going to differentiate the profit for the second time. Okay? And if we're going to find our, we'll substitute these figures there. The one that will gives you the smallest value is the maxima, is one you pick. The one that gives you the highest value is one that you ignore, right? So we go back to our profit function. What was our profit function? Our profit function was, so we found two values of x. What are they? 14 and what? 2. All right? So we're going to now go back to our profit function and differentiate for the second time. And we use the second derivative rule. So what was our profit function? Our profit function was 1 over 3 cubed, 8 cubed, negative 28. So this was derivative number 1. Okay, so let's differentiate for the second time. This is our second derivative. Our first derivative is, we haven't differentiated. What is our first derivative when differentiate? 1/3 times 3 is 1. negative 1 times, so this is negative q squared, right? And here we differentiate 8q2, what we get? Positive 16 what? Q. Then negative 28 becomes what? Negative 28. That's the first derivative. Let's differentiate for the second time. What we have? Negative q squared. This is negative 2q. Then 16q, what we get? Plus 16. Then what happens to the 28? Becomes a constant. Then we found two values of q. What was the first value? What was the second value of q? What two values did you find for q?
14
14 and what?
And
and
2.
And 2. So we'll substitute these ones in here. The one that gives you a higher value is called a maximum. We'll pick the one that gives you a minimum value of those two. That is what we call the second derivative rule. Okay? So we substitute in there. So we'll try both of them. So when you put both of them in there, which is called the second, to get the maximum. So when you put in these values, you start with a 2, you put 2 there, it's giving us positive 12. So this is called a minima. We are not going to get that. When you put 14, it's giving us negative 12. This is called a maxima. So 14 is the value that will maximize profit. So we're going to pick what? 14. I repeat, you have two values. So these are semifinals. So we need to decide which, because we can't have two quantities. So we substitute this in the second derivative. And the answer that will give you a minimum value is the one that you pick. And that is what we go for. All right? So this is how we find our quantity that maximizes. So it's a process. And the last part of the question was asking us to find now the actual profit. What is the actual profit? So you can do that in two ways. Just substitute the quantity of 14 in the profit function that you found, or individually you put it in the total revenue and you put it in the total cost, then you compute it. So we know that profit is equal to what? Total revenue minus what? Total cost. So since we picked 14, put 14 here, the maximum revenue to get is 210. And again, we put the 14 in the cost. We're going to get our total value as what? Okay, you substitute it. It's going to give you maybe 700 somewhere there. Okay, and now it will give you actually 38 point something, 4.68. Then you substitute that in the formula, since we know that total revenue minus total cost is our profit. So when you put this is our total cost and this was our total revenue, so you subtract these two, the difference is called your profit. So it's asking you to calculate the actual profit thereafter. So you get your profit. So this is how this question was supposed to be answered. Cheaper altogether.
Yeah.
All right. I hope I was not too fast. I hope you got the concept. So my classes are ideally not too long. I just want to touch where you need to understand.